Hey there, this is your host Brian, and I'd like to introduce our special guest today, Clarke Bishop of TechMarketingTeam. Clarke has been the owner and leader of several technology service companies, and he knows just how painful it can be to put in all the time and effort to educate yourself, to work hard, yet still fail to realize your business dreams. If you're the owner of or leader of a technology service company, then it's highly likely that Clarke's been exactly where you are right now, and he knows how to answer all of these problems. And those answers will lead to marketing that really works, attracts new customers, increases profitability, and helps you focus on the most effective growth strategies that will help you get the most out of your business. In today's interview, our topic is going to be how to build your business through referrals. Clarke, welcome, and thank you so much for being with us here today.
You bet, Brian.
Hey, well, I know from my experiences with interviewing you that you have tons of great information, and we've actually almost gone over our time limit a few times. But just to get the ball rolling, how about you tell us about yourself for the viewers who haven't heard about you yet?
Sure, absolutely. Well, we are the first marketing agency that's focused exclusively on helping technology service businesses grow and prosper. And we focus on three specific things. One is attracting the right prospects. Two is converting more of those prospects into customers and actually growing profitability. And three is on tracking and using measurement to improve the ROI. And when you put all those things together, it really works well. And to tell you the truth, business is booming and it's keeping us hopping. But I'm committed to make time to have these talks with you.
And I'm sure those are words that people love to hear, especially when I know a lot of people get so caught up in the economy, wondering what's going to happen next, what's in store for their business. And for you to say that business is booming and for you to be helping people to show them, to prove to them that things are better than ever, I think they have a lot to look forward to in this interview between you and I.
I hope so. And, the economy is a big deal for IBM and Microsoft and Apple and for companies like that. But for those of us who are smaller, we create our own economies wherever we go. So it's not we're not really affected by the headlines in the newspaper as much.
Oh, yeah. And I figure that especially through your help, people are going to learn exactly what you mean. I feel that there's going to be a lot of people who say, oh, well, no, because it's the superpowers and the shifting of money and the politics. And I found that everyone from I've known business owners and people who are really opinionated on businesses that don't have businesses who think that really it's just the whim of the president or just anybody saying something and they think, oh, well, everything's going to go in tank now, and it's really not as bad as it is, and they have more control over their own lives and their own destinies and their own businesses than they realize. And so I figure let's get this interview underway and show them exactly what we're talking about.
Let's do it.
All right. So since today's topic is how to build your business through referrals, well, you figure everyone likes to get referral business, and if you do a good job, won't they just come naturally to your business, Clarke?
Well, that's what a lot of people think. Is that, well, I'm doing a good job, so people will naturally refer their friends and whatever to me. And, that can happen. So because it can happen and it might occasionally happen, people think that's the way it works. And really, there's a fundamental problem that you have to think about when it comes to referrals. If you were to refer somebody to my business, Brian, then you're putting a little bit of yourself on the line. So even if you think that we're going to do a great job for your friend, you're still kind of sticking your neck out just a little bit. And so your natural impulse, even if you do think, even if we've been working with you and done a great job with you, there's kind of a natural impulse to just shrink back from that a little bit. So one of the keys to it is to offset that disincentive with an incentive. Make it worthwhile for people to refer business. And so just hoping for referrals isn't going to work. You've got to actually take some specific actions to make that happen, and to make it so that it's worthwhile for people to refer business to you, and to make it easy and natural and have them to remember to do it. So all of those kinds of things.
Hmm. And now that you mention it, because I never really think about it, but I think it becomes subconscious, and there's just a lot of processes that go through my head at the time of me being willing to recommend something to somebody. And now that I'm consciously thinking about it, it is a lot like when I'm working with somebody, or when I go to somebody higher up in a business and I'm willing to recommend somebody who's on my level, or to what would be considered lower on the I hesitate to say corporate ladder, but I figure people know what I mean when I say that. And there are many similarities, because it's rapport between a friend, and though it's not necessarily business related, as if you sticking your neck out financially, you care about them, and you care about their well-being and their experience, and even in your own mind, even if they know you and they really like you, you want to maintain your credibility with them.
That's exactly right. And there's some new research out I was looking at the other day. People will actually, how all this works with psychology experiments. They all involve college students, and they're all set up under kind of contrived situations.
Oh, yes.
But people will actually spend money to gain social credibility. And so social credibility and that social standing you can actually measure the economic impact of it. People definitely care about it. And so there's really the way we recommend people do things. There's actually two incentives that are part of things. One part is to give you, the referrer, the person who's referring business, an incentive, so that you kind of remember to do it, and it overcomes that risk you might be taking. And then the second part of it is perhaps even more important, where we give the person that you refer to us an extra incentive. So you're able to say, hey, I've got this friend, or I know this company that's great at IT support, IT services, has a great cloud offering, whatever. And then And by the way, here's a referral card, and if you use this referral card, you get a discount or you get some special incentive. And it's only because you're a friend of me that you can. You're one of my friends that I can give you this special deal. So the person doing the referring gets rewarded twice. One in terms of actually getting a discount on their bill or something else to help overcome that risk. And then two, they're able to hand off a deal to their friend, the person that they're referring. And you put all that together, and it more than overcomes the risk of sticking your neck out.
I see. So even if things are, I guess if they go south for whatever reason, even if you have this great marketing firm, you have a great service to provide, then at least they're saying, well, even if for some reason my friend didn't like this service, I'm getting something out of it, and so are they. It's really as risk-free as it can possibly get.
Exactly. So that's key number one, is to handle those incentives so that it's a win all the way around. And then the second key is to really make it simple and easy for your clients to do it. So, one of the things we almost always see is they know people that they know a lot of people that are like themselves. So all of those people have similar needs, and they're likely to know the people that would be great customers for you. But the problem is they don't know how to sell your business. They probably don't even know your phone number. They don't have it memorized. They may have it in their iPhone or computer somewhere, but they can, if they're out someplace, they won't know about that. So what you want to do is take the job of selling away from your clients, so that they can just do the referral very easily. They don't understand your unique differentiators or unique selling propositions like we've talked about before. They don't know your strengths. They don't remember all your different services. So that's why we've got that baked into a referral card that they can use. And by doing that, it makes it real easy for your clients to just grab one of those cards and hand it off to their friend and say, here's who you need to talk to.
Oh, I understand exactly what you're saying now, I think. And for those of you who are listening, definitely listen in on past interviews to understand what Clarke's talking about for the benefits of your business and letting the customer know exactly how you can help them. But on this topic, you call it referral cards, and how about you tell us how you create and use those?
Sure. Well, there's really two parts to the way we do it. I think I said before, the first thing you got to make sure is that the referral cards sell for you. So you've got to get the text on the copy on the card right, so that it represents your company well. You've got to get the graphics done well. I'm not saying this is some there are better and worse ways to do it, but if you've got a good graphic designer, then you can probably get there with that. And then the second key part of it is to keep using those cards and keep using them, keep giving them to customers and clients. Make a special point at certain times in your relationship with clients to bring out some of those cards and actually use them and present them, and not in the middle of doing a lot of other things. Make kind of a little bit of a production about it. And so, if you'd like, I can tell you exactly how we do it when we're working with clients as part of our $7.97 a month marketing service.
Oh, well, I would like to hear that actually.
Well, what we do is, we take the referral cards, we do the graphic design for them, we put the company's logo, phone number, all the basic list of services and those kinds of things on there. And it's important to capture what's unique and different about your company, what are some of the key messages, and these cards are not that large, so fitting that all together and making it look good so that it represents your business is a little bit of a challenge, but we do it a lot, so it makes it easy for us. But then these cards are perforated and they fold very nicely. So what we ask people to do, and I ask our clients to do, is include them with almost any mailing you send out. So if you mail out invoices or statements or any other type of mailing, put some of these cards in there with it. So you're continuously reminding the client about referrals, and it doesn't really cost you anything extra except for printing up the cards, which is almost nothing. And it doesn't cost extra for postage because they're lightweight, they're in the envelope. So and they remind, because we're all busy, and we're all busy, we're distracted, we're going every different way at once. And so when you get that invoice or statement in the mail, anything else that you get, newsletters, all of those kinds of things, then you're continuously reminding clients that you're there to help them, and you're giving them some sort of an incentive. It might be a free month or a discount on their services. So it occurs as a positive thing. You're offering them something positive, and it's not something you have to be bugging them a lot about, but just including it and make it more of a benefit to them. One other thing we recommend people do, and that's do regular mailings specifically devoted to the topic of referrals. So send out a letter, include some cards, specifically talk about the referral program and set that up in the proper way. And so it provides that extra reminder of a referral specific mailing. So those are all the activities that we regularly recommend for people. And if you got good cards and you use them effectively, it's one of those things that works amazingly well, and it's a good, fast way to build your business.
It's interesting that you also mentioned that, because I've heard people coin this as they call it the information age, but I've heard a lot of marketers call it the attention age because, with email and cell phones and social media and all this stuff vying for your attention, that's what you're ending up doing as well. And when you can show people that you're paying attention to them, that they matter, that you care, I feel will be a great way to not only continue business, but to expand it. I've spoken with another client recently, and I don't want to skew this number, but I believe he mentioned that it was either 61 to 67% of people stop doing business with a business simply because they never hear from them again. It's like they just sort of fall off the face of the earth, and they feel, I almost want to say, neglected. So because a client, or not a client, but the business seems apathetic to the client just sort of goes. And when you mail them and you show them that you're thinking about them, you mail them something about them that benefits them, it shows them that you care, that their business matters to you, and I feel that that'll pass along well. But is that the message you're also giving us here?
Absolutely, and it wouldn't surprise me if that number is 61 or 67%. You're kind of touching on our client retention strategies, and sometimes for people who've already made that mistake, we've got a customer or past client reactivation process that we take people through, that where we start with making sure they know that we do care about them and we want them to come back. And a lot of times that's all it takes to get them back on board.
Excellent. So, what about incentivizing it? I know that you mentioned that. So how much is the right amount of incentive to add to give to the people who've done business with you to pass on to their friends?
It really depends on the specifics of your product or what you do. I mean, we don't recommend that you do incentives such that you're losing money. But, when you think about it, all marketing costs something. And whether it's your time that you're spending on it, or things, or money you're spending on advertising, or money you're spending other places. And so the real key is to maximize the return you're getting on each dollar that you spend. And for most of our clients are able to see a really clear return on that investment from doing the referral program. I mean, once they get it set up, it costs almost nothing to run it. And so then, depending on your business, it might be giving your client a free month for the referral, or giving them a discount. We have seen that cash, a lot of times you're dealing with the owner of a business, and so they just rather have the cash. If you're looking at businesses where you're getting referrals from people who are at lower levels, then they might respond to a gadget or some other like a iPad Mini, or some other incentive like that, something they can take home and play with. And it's really kind of the same thing for the person your client is referring to you. You just want to make sure that they're getting or they're perceiving that they're getting a better deal. And the only thing that will get you into trouble, if you really should be giving your best deal to these people, because they're getting referred by somebody that already knows you. So they're likely to be a very good client. And because of that, do a great job taking care of them. Even if you don't really make much money from them in the first month or two that they're on board, you'll make that up as you keep going forward.
I understand what you're getting at there. So I can I have a lot of things going through my head now, just thinking about incentives for businesses to give out, like you mentioned, the iPad Mini. So it seems that what you're saying also is that you don't want to skimp your customers. If you come off as cheap to them, then isn't it kind of like shooting yourself in the foot?
Absolutely. It needs to feel like enough that they feel like, oh, this was, it needs to feel like a thank you. It doesn't need to be enough to feel like a bribe, but enough to feel like a thank you.
Okay.
And that I really appreciate you doing the referral. We talked in the beginning about how when you refer me to one of your friends, or business associates, you're kind of sticking your neck out a little bit. But it's not you know me, we're working together. You feel comfortable about me, so you're not really sticking out your neck in a gigantic way. So you just need to feel like I'm giving you an honest, hey, thanks. And as long as you accomplish that, then that should be fine for the incentive.
Yeah, it's not like you're recommending, a promotion of an employee to a very volatile boss. So,
Exactly.
so there's a friend factor there, and there's a lot less stress overall. But I can understand especially how incentivizing, and there are major companies that do this, and you see them commercialize it, like Dish Network or Hulu or whatever you want, and they say, hey, go get your friends to sign up for this since you already like it. How about you do it, and we'll make sure that you get, a month free or a couple months free, something like that.
Absolutely. And fewer people do it in business-to-business situations, which makes it stand out all the better, and it makes it work better.
It creates in itself like we talked about last interview, a unique selling proposition of sorts.
Exactly.
So I know a lot of people, they get very concerned about the money it takes for their marketing, and that's understandable. So how long would you say it takes to see return on investment?
One reason that this is one of our favorite strategies is we frequently see people get their first referral within 30 days or so, maybe a little longer. And even better, it builds over time as people kind of get used to it. So once a client has given out a card and gotten that incentive, then you've got that reward cycle going. And so they refer somebody to you, they get their incentive, the other person is happy, the other person says, hey, I'm so glad you referred me over to this IT service company. And so all of those are wins, and so it makes that client that much more likely to hoard those referral cards and give them out every time it makes sense for them to do it. So it does build over time. Usually we expect to see at least one successful referral, within 30 or 45 days, and then see the number build from there. So, it's one of those things that done the right way nearly always work and produce a great ROI. And, if you're trying it and it hasn't worked for you, or you're trying to do some version of it and hadn't worked for you, then you probably should go to the website and set up one of our 30-minute marketing tune-ups, and we'll see if we can't help you figure out what's going wrong. It is one of those things like in marketing, so many times it's little things that matter. And we spend a lot of time really developing and testing these strategies and we've gotten it down to a science that really works. And it's not like you've got to do it all perfectly if you want to try to do it yourself, but sometimes there are little things that matter a lot. And there's examples in the world of marketing where just adding or deleting a comma can double conversion rates. So getting all the little things right are very much worth doing.
I think it turns out that even something like McDonald's, when their slogan, the I'm loving it, it turns out that just having a lowercase I for the I'm is it added millions to their bottom line. And so I can understand what you're getting at there. But I wonder if it would be good advice for people not to get too caught up in the very, very technical things like that until they have all their other ducks in a row to know that their system is actually working before they stress over the details.
Exactly. And, it's the balance between you're better off doing something even if it's not perfect than worrying about whether you should capitalize the I or not.
That was a great way to put it. So for those people who are developing their business, I know that we talked about unique selling propositions and really piecing together a great strategy for their marketing and standing out and offering benefits to their clients. And I know as I'm saying it now, for people who haven't listened to your past interviews, they might wonder, what the heck am I talking about? But But when it comes to that return on investment, how did I think I ran myself off a cliff here. I'm really sorry about that. But I'm really thinking about them and their mindset and the bottom line, because I know so many people worry about the bottom line, because when I got into internet marketing, I really stressed over stuff that I didn't need to stress about, because everyone's like, "Oh, well, you have to have your landing page set up like this and your funnel has to go like this." And I was so stressed about the details that it took me forever before I even got anything set up. And so what would your advice be, real quick, because I know we're getting a little bit towards the end of our time here, but what would your advice be for those people who do get so caught up in the details and really don't know how to just do what they need to?
Well, I'll answer that in two parts. One is that if you just really want to know about it and you want to do it yourself and you want to try it out, then do something. Take your best guess. I know it's hard, and those of us who are more technically minded, we want to know everything and we want to see all the pieces and we want to know when we flip this bit over here, what's going to happen over there. But what works best is to find a starting point, do something, and then see what happens and adjust it. Come up with a theory of what might be going on, either ideally based on data, but if you don't have data, you can still take a guess, or call somebody and ask them, or ask if nobody's providing referrals and you're doing referral cards, then go to a client you know pretty well and say, "Hey, I would you mind if you just had a real straight conversation with me and tell me, I gave you these referral cards, but you haven't used any of them yet. Are you concerned about me, or is something confusing about the way we did this, or what happened?" So you'd be surprised what can come out of just asking those kind of questions. So it's do something and see what happens, and do something else and then see what happens, and keep going through that loop. Or if you want the shortcut, you might want to hire us, because we do this all the time for companies all over the country, and so we've already gone a long way down that learning curve.
And I'm sure you would save a lot of people a lot of time and money. And for someone who is in my position, that's exactly what I'll tell you what, I really could have used that instead of just learning what I did and having to sift through all the information and worrying about the big I or the little I. And so it's great that there's someone like you here to really help people out who are in that, I guess I could say, that proverbial business bind, where a lot of people more and more are finding themselves these days, when really they just have to make a few small shifts, and there are a lot of eye-opening things that I know that you and other people like you can offer them, and their business will definitely soar.
That's right. And, when I first started learning about this, I had to do it all the hard way, because there was nobody around who knew these things. And so, it was natural for me. And I went down all of those rabbit holes and dead ends, and found out a lot of things that don't work. And it still keeps changing. So we're still continuously learning, and we learn from our own activities. We learn from clients. But it just keeps getting better and better, and that's kind of why business is booming.
Excellent. Well, Clarke, this was fantastic, and it's definitely been a pleasure talking with you. And if you're listening to this interview and you'd like to learn more about how to identify and to fix the marketing mistakes of your technology business, Clarke has generously offered a free 30-minute marketing tune-up call, especially for listeners of this interview. I'm sure you've heard us talk about it a little bit as the interview's gone on. So in this tune-up call, Clarke will help you identify what might be the biggest holes in your marketing strategy, as well as the biggest opportunities for additional profit in your business. Spots are limited, though, and will be made available on a first-come, first-served basis. So if you're interested or even just curious to learn more, then you're going to want to sign up for one of these spots and reserve a free one-on-one marketing tune-up call with Clarke at no cost. To do this, visit TechMarketingTuneup.com. Once again, that's TechMarketingTuneup, all one word, .com. Clarke, it's really been a pleasure. You've had so many insights, and I really appreciate you being with us here today.
Thanks, Brian.
All right, well, you have yourself a fine day, sir.
You bet. You too.